I am Rachel Meliotis, a senior editor at O'Reilly Media, and I'm here at Velocity New York 2013 with Andy Davies, who is a web performance consultant at Asteno. Thanks for joining me.
Great.
So you've been doing web performance consulting for some time.
Yep.
And you've workshops all over the place. What are some of the most common problems that you find people having?
The most common problems I find are people just don't pay attention to performance. They don't look at it from a business point of view as to what poor performance is costing them.
Okay.
Generally, the people who get me in have some idea they may have an issue. They don't know how big or how small their issue is.
Sure.
But across the board, I see common things: images that are too large, some basic web server configurations that aren't in place, through to pages that just have too many resources, and particularly resources coming from third-party sites. So, we build websites that include analytics,
Sure.
Advertising, retargeting widgets, and your typical e-commerce site has a lot of those in, and it has a very poor effect on their performance.
So can you tell me some of the sort of quick fixes for some of those?
quickest fix that I find sort of about 25% of clients haven't done is turn on GZIP compression on their web server.
Okay.
After that, TCP keep alive is the next big thing I look for. And then we're down into looking at a code level as to what resources are they including.
Sure.
And it's not unusual to find fixes for IE6 that they never really needed,
Sure.
or old versions of jQuery. I've got a client at the moment whose site was redeveloped, and they've got several versions of jQuery on the page when they only need one.
Right.
And it's killing them.
Right. So you mentioned images.
Yep.
And that takes up, in some websites and applications, a lot of what's going on there.
Yep.
What are some sort of tips you can give to people to help fix that problem with performance?
What I generally encourage people to do is automate image conversion.
Okay.
So quite a few content management systems will actually optimize the images that people upload to be, a good enough quality to download on the web,
Sure.
but not overly large.
Yep.
Sometimes it goes wrong. I've come across one situation where photographs are uploaded as JPEGs and being converted to a different format and coming out 3 times the size when they were delivered to the client.
Not good.
Then, we get into the world of mobile and responsive, and the great challenge there is how do we deliver images that are the right size for the device? Because if we make them the right size for the device, they're so much smaller to download. Now, some people are on their couch at home surfing the web on their phone, so they've got a Wi-Fi connection, but people are out and about as well. And
absolutely.
even when they're at home, resizing those images on the phone takes a lot of processing power on the phone and slows the whole experience down.
Absolutely. So that's another topic I wanted to talk with you about, mobile.
Yep.
So mobile and web performance have
Yep.
been sort of in the forefront of what people are talking about. Do you think it's driving innovation, or do you think it's kind of holding people back and they're all confused what they should be paying attention to?
I think it depends on who you talk to. Some companies, it's undoubtedly driving innovation for them, and I've seen situations where sites are being redeveloped to take advantage of mobile, so they're much simpler, they're much faster to load on mobile, and then they're taking that back and putting it in their core site and improving their experience there. But then there are others who are just taking the desktop site, adjusting it slightly, and trying to ship that to a mobile device, and they have a painful experience. And we've got to a situation where things are more diverse. We've got phones, we've got tablets, we've got desktops, we've got people connected via cellular networks, and the world is just getting more diverse, and it's bringing challenges to us all as developers and consultants who optimize stuff.
Definitely. I know that you've talked about best practices throughout your workshops, and you've also mentioned the idea that best practices sometimes become the new standards. Can you sort of elaborate on that and how you think that's going to come to fruition in web performance?
I think there's a few things going on at the moment. We've got the advent of new protocols like Speedy, which will, in HTTP 2.0, which Speedy will become HTTP 2.0, they'll merge together.
Sure.
Which in some ways simplifies some of the work we have to do before we deliver a site. So typically we might merge small resources together, and we don't have to do that for HTTP 2. But then we have this challenge of how do we deliver to the old clients as well as the new, so they both get the best experience.
Sure.
Some of the other stuff I've looked at is there are ways of combining files together, and so you can convert images to something called a data URI, which is essentially a base 64 encoded string, and put it in your CSS. But the challenge you've got then is you've made your CSS bigger, and your page can't render till the CSS downloads. But then, images are treated as not a priority. So you've made a blocking resource bigger for the sake of downloading something that's lower priority.
Interesting. So where do you see, you've talked a little bit about sort of what's happening. Where do you see the web performance community in 5-10 years?
In 5-10 years? Ooh, that's a big question.
I know.
We've only been going
Yep.
since 2007, well, a bit before that in anger. I'd like to see it bigger. I'd like to see more people caring about performance. And over the last year, I've seen more who I would say normal developers, so not people who are obsessed with performance, talk about performance, which is really great to see. I think we need better tools as well. Browsers are doing their bit to make the web faster. ISPs are doing their bit, but we've got to make it easier for developers to do the right thing, educate them, and to a certain extent look at how automated tools can take away the pain and make people's life easier.
Sure. Well, I hope that all comes true.
Great.
I think those are good ideas. Thanks for joining me today.
Right, thank you.